Hello, and welcome to the My Heart and Mind podcast, where it's all about creating the feel-good mindset so you can make the most of every moment and reap the benefits of getting the most happiness out of life. And now, over to your host, Sallie Crawley.
Hi, I'm Sallie Crawley. Thank you for joining me today for my first ever episode of the My Heart and Mind podcast. Together, we will explore the art of living happy after a cardiac event, helping you to get your emotional power back, to gain control of your life, your mind and your body. After a heart attack or cardiac arrest, or when living with heart disease, it's not just the physical body that has the life-altering changes and needs rehabilitation. My show focuses on your mindset, your thoughts and your feelings, so you can feel good now. Each episode will be about sharing ideas, tips and tricks to transform how you feel after a cardiac trauma. Rehabilitation for how you think and your emotions so you can love the life you live. Listen to how-to episodes, interviews and Q&A sessions. If you've had a cardiac event yourself, or you're the partner or friend of somebody who has, or you've experienced any other life-changing event, this podcast is for you. It's about you and it's for you, so you can be the best you. So, as I said, thank you for joining me. This is my trailer episode. I'm Sallie and I'm a heart attack and breast cancer warrior. I love life, I love cats, coffee and cars. I'm very scared at the moment. I'm very nervous about doing this, but I have read the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, and hell, I'm doing it. After all, I've survived much worse. It's not like I'm going to die. This is my opportunity to make a real difference to your life, to help you and me, because I do have to walk the talk, overcome the emotional turmoil of a cardiac event and love the life that you live. So in this episode, you're going to find out a little bit about who I am and what I do, how I think that the podcast can help you, why I chose a podcast rather than a YouTube video, and what some of the future episodes will be about. Are you ready to jump into today's show? Well, as I've said, I'm a survivor. I experienced both a heart attack and breast cancer within 2 months of each other in 2016. These both happened while I had my leg in plaster due to having a ruptured Achilles tendon. I don't do things by halves. I have, over the last 13 years, experienced working with people to help them achieve change in their lives. I'm a hypnotherapist, life coach and NLP practitioner, amongst other things. And I am also a single mum of a teenage girl. So, I hear you thinking, okay, so I hear you saying, you what? NLP? What's that? Essentially, it's a set of skills that enable us to think in more helpful ways. This is achieved by understanding that our way of thinking about the world is unique to us, that we have power over our thoughts and we can change them. Then, by changing the way we think, we can change how we feel, and how we feel about the world, ourselves, and about others. I'll explain more in detail in a later episode. Hypnotherapy, NLP and coaching are about helping people change easily and effortlessly. They're solution focused and have been found to create change relatively quickly and have lasting positive effects. It can be fun. Change doesn't always have to be serious. I've started this podcast because in 2016, having experienced simultaneously those two life-changing events, I realised how difficult they both were, and that it wasn't just my physical body that was affected. For some people, the most devastating change after a cardiac event is the shock and the trauma. Some cases, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. The NHS were amazing, despite the complications that I caused because of, I had my leg in plaster and I was on crutches. They actually coped really admirably. But for me, there was a great difference between the emotional support available for a person living with a cancer diagnosis and for someone that was living with a cardiovascular disease. Having my leg in plaster, as I said, kept me isolated. I was in a wheelchair and I knew no one that had experienced a heart attack. Luckily, we have the internet, and I came across a Facebook group called British Hearties Worldwide Hearties Survivors Support Group. I'll link to it in the show notes. It was set up by Jeff Sykes not long before I had my heart attack. Once I become proficient in the podcasting malarkey, I will be interviewing Jeff in a later episode. Through this group, I realised I wasn't alone. I no longer felt terrified. I could see that other people were experiencing the same confusion, fear, fatigue, anxiety, depression, and sleeplessness as me. It literally saved my life, as there were times when I had wished I hadn't survived. As I healed my body and my mind, good job I'm a therapist, I watched the comments in the Facebook group. I wanted to help others, but at that time I was a lurker on social media, a lurker and learner, and my own anxiety stopped me from joining in. It was then that I realised that I really wanted to help. So with my own experience of many life-changing events and the tools for change that I've learned as a therapist, I'm going to share them with you, share my techniques with you, so you can learn the art of living happy after a cardiac event. Although it's not mandatory that you've had a cardiac event, what I and my guests are going to share with you are all focused around the mindset of loving the life you live, your new life, not the normal one. There is no medical advice given in these episodes, and you should only undertake any activities in consultation with your medical team, please. If you have any concerns about your health or your heart, then do get an expert and make sure that they give you advice immediately. My work is not intended to replace conventional medicine. It is complementary and educational. My show is not going to be about the medical physical side of recovery, though. It will touch on it, but mindset is about being able to thrive, about how you can reduce risk factors and make the lifestyle changes easily and effortlessly. I chose to do a podcast as I can be by your side. You can listen to me while walking, driving to work, although in the current circumstances and the coronavirus, that's not happening in many places. You can do it while you're walking the dog. You can do it while you're doing the housework. You can listen to me while you're exercising, even cooking the dinner or doing the washing up. I am hoping it will inspire you to take good care of yourself with me as company and encouragement. I'll be your cheerleader. The show is going to be a mix of interviews with inspirational people, heart attack survivors and their families that feel that they've thrived rather than just survived. Yes, things may have been bleak, but they came through it and they're going to share with us how. There'll be episodes that are just solo, just me, where I'll share with you tips, advice and activities that you can apply to help you feel emotionally stronger, to be more able to come to terms with your new life and make the necessary life changes that will help you create a life that is fulfilling and purposeful. I've been through many life-changing events. You'll have to stay with me if you want to get the down and dirty on what those are. I am sure you have too. And in my experience, I found that there are 6 stages of mindset that are part of the process of finding peace, joy and happiness. These stages are acceptance, energy, hope, purpose, confidence and direction. Make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out on finding out how you can make use of these stages in living your new life. I also plan to invite a cardiologist, a cardiac nurse, a member of the cardiac rehab team and a pharmacist. That way we can have someone who will talk us through all the technical help and advice that we need. I will also interview people that are in the know about the practicalities of life, a friendly employee relations advisor who is happy to offer advice about going back to work, and a specialist in financial support through benefits when you're unable to work. My mission is to help you with emotional rehabilitation. I want to be of service to you if you have any experience of a life-altering event. In particular, my focus is on you if you have survived a cardiac event. I know what it's like to feel as if your world has been turned upside down and you're spiralling out of control. That said, I want to help as many people as possible, regardless of the event that changed their lives. And in the current situation with coronavirus, I don't think there's anyone out there that hasn't already been impacted. A dramatic life change, good or bad, can be a huge shock. I want to help you be able to love the new life you live. Through this podcast, I want to share with you practical tools, ideas, tips and tricks that you can easily use in your life that will make a real difference to the way that you really feel. What might get in the way of you getting the benefits from these podcast episodes? You might find yourself saying, I've heard it all before, or I've tried it once. For anything that is shared on this podcast to work for you, you have to do the work and give things a go. Knowing is one thing, doing is something completely different. So okay, but did you do it? Did you do it more than once? Sometimes it's about sustaining the action or activity, as it's about the repetition that makes the difference. And hey, if you've already read about it but haven't given it a go, remember, if you want something different in your life has to be different. The other thing that you might be saying to yourself is, yeah, my friend did it and it worked for them. They swear by it. Nothing works for me. I've tried it for a while, a week ago, and it just didn't feel right. Remember that it's not one size fits all. If you've given it a go, a proper go, and it is weirding you out, then give it a swerve and try something else. You do you, because it's all about you. It's about different strokes for different folks. We're all uniquely amazing individuals. Just because something worked for one person, it doesn't mean to say it will work for everyone. Give everything a go. Be curious and experiment. Have fun. What have you got to lose? Nothing. You've just got everything to gain. So, come with me, and together we can love the life we live. I hope that you've enjoyed the show. If you'd like to, please do subscribe. It will help me get to more people and allow more people to find out about the show. So that just leaves me to say thank you so much for listening today. I am so glad to have met with you. It's bye-bye for now until next week. And the beat goes on, one moment at a time.
You've been listening to Sallie Crawley and the My Heart and Mind podcast, a show for you if you've had a heart attack, cardiac event or other life-changing experience and want to feel good. It's all about mastering your feelings and emotions so you can feel great and live the life you love. To find out more, visit www.myheartandmind.co.uk and note that that's an AND and not the ampersand character. Go be magnificent.